Hello and welcome to Rauta. This time it's time to talk about some black metal from Serbia, not the typical common country for a lot of bands. Obviously there are bands coming from the Eastern Europe and all that stuff. Before we take a look at the CD and whatnot, let's take a look at band's Metal Archive site. And here you have Strahor from Serbia, Lebane Jablanica. Sorry for the pronunciation, I don't really talk the language they do in Serbia. So this one is one of those solo projects, and now you have all those bedroom red flags all going up, and I get it. One man doing everything, instruments, whatever, vocals, then you're like, okay, he really can handle it all, and that's basically the case with pretty much every possible bedroom black metal out there. But some of them are better than the others, so let's not judge without listening. And also a quick look, 2017, founded with a couple of demos out, 10 EP splits, what have you, and 3 full albums by now. That's pretty interesting. Having albums out every 2 years and a lot of smaller releases. Usually this is a good sign, however, because when bands do demos first and maybe EPs and whatnot, and then they go and jump for full albums, they are usually more polished and more like figuring out what to do. Unfortunately, that is indeed the case with this particular band here as well. Not the first time on board, but more like figuring it out already. So third album, but the downside is self-financed and CDR. Not that it matters to all people out there, but those who are really picky what they choose to put in their record collections whatsoever, this is an important to feature. And as such, this is probably, partially, that's the reason why this might be a little bit stripped down, like no two-sided inlay underneath the CD tray, and quite thin booklet with not much to really take a look at. I mean, why no lyrics? You have 4 pages, front page with the cover obviously, and then the liner notes side, but why no lyrics? This is something that is puzzling me. Is the artist really shy about the lyrics, or are there no really lyrics? You really don't know. But that's what we are dealing here. Why? And I don't unfortunately have the answer for you. And even if there are, because the language here is in Serbia, I mean Serbian language, well, probably couldn't even read. But still, it puzzles me. When you have 4 pages, why not include the lyrics? I mean, after all, lyrics are an important part of black metal to begin with. Now, since we don't have answer for that, it might be worth taking a look at this page here for Gde Vukovi Zavijaju. Like I said, I don't know how to pronounce it, so pardon me. This album runs for some 38 minutes, and it's very, very melodic black metal. Even to the degree that you could make a call this more like closer to melodic death metal coming from the 90s Sweden. I mean, this is so super melodic and not exactly very raw in nature or very sinister or dark that you could really say this is basically something like, you know, In Flames and Dark Tranquility and all those bands coming from the 90s. I mean, after all, their ways to put out vocals and all that stuff wasn't that different from a lot of more melodic black metal bands. Sometimes it's a very, very much like a line drawn in water, you know. On the other side, you have melodic black metal bands, say, such as Dissection, and on the other side, you have bands which are clearly more melodic black metal, melodic death metal, mellow death, as it's often said. So, you know, really, without knowing the context and all, you could really call it mellow death, and you probably couldn't really figure out which way it is unless somebody's like saying that actually it's black metal. So from a pure musical perspective, you really could put this in both camps. I mean, come on, back in the 90s, Dissection, for example, was called by a lot of people melodic black death metal, or even just mellow death. So in that respect, you could really say that this sounds a lot of like those 1990s mellow death bands. But let's assume it's called melodic black metal, and let's go with that. Now, like I said, this is hyper melodic, which means it's not just flirting with melodies, but, you know, giving them like a fireworks and just, you know, doing with it. The good thing is it's quite catchy in material, but it's not the top tier really. I mean, I wouldn't really compare this to bands, say, Dissection or Unanimated, even though it's definitely closer to that direction than anything else. But the style is not that Swedish sounding, so there is difference, and I think that's a plus thing here. Plus as in positive. Vocals then again are pretty basic in the genre. Can't really bitch about them, can't really mock them, can't really praise them too much. And same goes for the production. I mean, it kind of shows that this is an independent production. It's a little bit homemade feeling to it. The kind of a typical bedroomish feeling. Now, I'm not gonna say it's bad. But compared to a lot of albums that I get to listen and review throughout the years, well, certainly nowadays the default quality for production is quite high up there, and as such this kind of pales in comparison. Without the smaller flaws, despite all of that, I think this is pretty interesting. I think this is actually pretty good, and you should give it a go if you like melodic black metal to begin with, or mellow death. But don't expect too much. Don't expect A-grade stuff when there is no A-grade budget and a full band to back it up. But for those who like solo projects, bedroom or whatnot, give it a go. You might actually like it. This is Rauta. Take care. Bye bye.